People joined the Galactic Council with high hopes, offering resilience and ingenuity in a coalition spanning countless civilizations. Diplomats traveled far to symbolize Earth, to exemplify its values. One person, a human representative, became the personification of calm reason, steadfast commitment, and years of belief in the strength of unity. This diplomat worked tirelessly, easing tensions and supporting Earth's inclusion in critical interstellar policies. But beneath the surface, conflict simmered. Many council members viewed humanity as an erratic, dangerous anomaly disrupting delicate balances of power. Earth's rapid technological advancement and adaptability were met with suspicion. Rumors of conspiracies and secret council sessions hinted at growing unease about humanity's ambitions. The breaking point came suddenly. The human diplomat was accused of espionage, framed by members of the council aligned with an alien empire. Despite the lack of evidence, calls for swift and brutal action swept through the chambers. Earth's pleas for a transparent investigation were ignored. The charges were a thin veil, a pretext, a calculated move to diminish humanity's influence. Then came the unthinkable. The Galactic Council pronounced the death penalty. It sent shockwaves across the galaxy. Earth's representatives begged the Council to remember its own charter: justice, fairness, impartiality, but the Council was deaf to mercy. The execution was broadcast publicly, galaxy-wide, a grim display of authority. A warning. As the diplomats stood, bound and defiant, their final words echoed through time. You will remember this. Earth did. Within minutes, the transmission reached home. Billions watched in horror. The betrayal by the very organization that had claimed to represent unity and peace was now complete. Rage swept across Earth like wildfire. Politicians were cast aside. Civilians and military leaders stood united. The message was clear. This meant war. Within hours, Earth's leaders convened. A formal declaration of war was issued against the Galactic Council and its allies. In the capital, fury and resolve filled the air. The sacrifice of their diplomat became a rallying cry, a symbol of injustice. This wasn't just revenge. This was retribution. Earth knew the odds. Hundreds of alien species, countless fleets, endless resources. But humanity had always thrived in adversity. Their strength wasn't just anger, it was belief. The belief that this wasn't just an execution, it was an insult to the very dignity of their species. In the weeks that followed, Earth mobilized, factories ran day and night, weapons, starships, defenses advanced, technologies accelerated, nanotech, AI, and quantum systems fused into war machines designed not for conquest, but survival. Their message to the galaxy? You will never forget this crime. Human fleets moved with precision. Stealth tech cloaked their strikes. Supply chains were crippled. Communication networks shattered. These weren't chaotic acts of vengeance, but cold, surgical dismantling of the Council's infrastructure. Human adaptability in war, once underestimated, became the deciding factor. Drones with adaptive AI swarmed fortresses. Orbital strikes were devastating yet controlled. On the ground, enhanced soldiers wielded weaponry that shattered alien defenses. Flexibility, improvisation, ruthless intelligence. The Galactic Council, once thought unstoppable, fractured. Member species hesitated. They feared the cost of war. Unity began to crack. Earth's advance continued. Council worlds fell. Entire fleets vanished. Panic spread. Not just at the military losses, but at what humanity now symbolized. Earth was chaos weaponized. Discipline fused with fury. The Council had wanted control. Earth thrived in the absence of it, yet even as Council species began to adapt, deploying new defenses, forming stronger alliances, the momentum was Earth's. Their ingenuity was unmatched. Every loss became a lesson. Each failure a foundation. Even off the battlefield, Earth struck hard. Cyber warfare breached Council networks. AI-driven hacks sabotaged strategy, crippled logistics. The illusion of unity dissolved. Tales of humanities. Resilience spread. Some alien populations began to see Earth not as conquerors, but as rebels, resistors of a broken order. The war had changed Earth. Sorrow, rage, Determination. Society, united in a way never seen before, civilians sacrificed. Scientists worked beside soldiers. Disparities vanished in pursuit of one goal, survival. Earth's campaign pressed forward. Occupied territories became strongholds. Alien tech fused with human systems, creating tools the Council couldn't match. But victory had its price. Earth began to overextend. Resources strained, logistics stretched thin. Discussions arose: should they hold their gains or risk pushing deeper? The war, once a blaze of vengeance, became a slow grind. Humanity reinforced what it held. Fortresses were built, defenses solidified. Earth scientists worked without rest, seeking any edge. AI improved. Soldiers enhanced. Every step forward came with cost. And on the other side, the Council's fractured unity began to harden. Divisions gave way to a shared fear. Cooperative research created new weapons. Alien fleets reorganized. They were no longer scattered defenders, but coordinated, powerful opponents. The war changed everything. Planets became graveyards, economies collapsed, societies trembled, but Earth endured. Fueled by the memory of a diplomat betrayed, they refused to falter. Still, resistance grew. Guerrilla fighters, sabotage, rebellion. Holding territories became harder. Earth's control was tested at every turn. Humanity responded harshly, sometimes desperately, and yet the cracks in the Council deepened. Once loyal species questioned the old order. Some even sympathized with Earth's cause. The war wasn't just physical, it was ideological. A clash of belief systems. Humanity represented more than a military threat. They were change incarnate. The flames of war would continue. But whatever the outcome, one truth remained: humanity would never be ignored again. Populations changed, metrics shifted. While the short-term effects varied, the seeds of bitterness took root, seeds that would persist long after the war's final shots. The unending nature of the conflict took a heavy toll on soldiers from both sides. Many, raised with ideals of peace and cooperation, found themselves trapped in a war that defied logic and reason. Tales of bravery and sacrifice surfaced. But just as many stories told of heartbreak, disillusionment, and despair. Even humanity, with all its dominance in technology and strategy, was not immune to the psychological strain of endless war. Operations were designed to maintain morale, to offer hope. But the crushing weight of combat was undeniable. Still, humanity adapted. Each failure became a lesson. Each setback an opportunity, new strategies, new technologies. A relentless pursuit of progress ensured Earth would remain a formidable force. Even as the Council forces grew more capable, diplomatic efforts were made time and time again. Neutral factions, rogue elements within the Council, some tried to broker peace. But both sides had grown too fanatical, too entrenched. Any concession was viewed as betrayal. The scars of the diplomat's execution were too fresh, too deep for the Council. Fear of Earth's growing supremacy outweighed any desire for peace, and so the galaxy burned. Planets once known for beauty and prosperity became battlefields. Ecosystems ravaged, trade routes shattered, interstellar commerce collapsed, culture gave way to propaganda. A golden age of connection replaced by an age of isolation and fear. The war was no longer just Council versus Earth. It was a galaxy-wide reckoning. A storm that reshaped history. In this new order, power had a different meaning. Once dismissed as outsiders, humanity had become central. A force no longer denied. Though bloodied, the Council remained powerful. Its coalition could still resist, but the balance of power shifted endlessly. Neither side could claim dominance. The war had grown into a self-sustaining storm driven by hatred, loss, and pride. Peace became a fading dream. The war was no longer about survival. It was about identity. It was about who would define the future. Nothing would ever be the same again. The very fabric of galactic society had changed. Earth and the Council were locked in a loop, a relentless cycle of escalation and retaliation. Each side adapted. Each generation was born into this new reality. For them, war wasn't a tragedy. It was simply life. The memory of betrayal burned within humanity. A hereditary flame passed down to each new generation. No one truly remembered why it began. Only that it must never end. Victory came at staggering cost. Yet for Earth, these sacrifices reinforced the belief. Survival required dominance. For the Council, every defiant act proved their fears humanity was an existential threat. A force to be contained or destroyed, new generations were raised beneath banners of war. On Earth, children idolized war heroes. Education shifted toward preparing youth for science, engineering, and combat, all in service of the cause. On Council worlds, children were taught that Earth was the ultimate evil. The cycle of vengeance became its own momentum. With every new wave of soldiers came more grief, more loss, more hatred. Technology raced forward. Autonomous fleets, bioengineered warriors, hybrid weapons combining the strengths of diverse species. The arms race pushed the boundaries of what war could be. Every innovation sharpened the blade. Attempts at peace became rare, smothered by extremists on both sides who saw compromise as weakness. Ceasefires crumbled before they could take root. The war had become too large, too deep. Whole worlds were transformed into factories, stripped of identity, beauty, and life. Alien civilizations, once thriving under the Council, found themselves caught in a fire they hadn't started. Their homes, their lives turned to ash. Human society changed. Art, culture, personal liberty all surrendered to the war machine. Yet, despite the cost, both sides justified their suffering. For humanity, it was a fight for justice. For the Council, a duty to preserve the galaxy. And both believed the other must be stopped. The Council presented the war as a moral crusade, to save the galaxy from human aggression. Humanity, in turn, rallied around its martyrdom, unifying a divided people. No one would back down. Prosperous trade routes became death corridors. Former